There are so many lessons that we only learn through experience, and we share these lessons so that people who are coming after us will either get to learn from our mistakes or our experiences. Basically, we walk the path so that people who are coming after us don't have to repeat the same mistakes. I won't call these things mistakes. They are mostly lessons that I learned along the way. I've been in the tech ecosystem for 6, 7 years now, and some of these things I had subconsciously done, but I didn't know exactly that that was what I was doing. But now, having worked all of these years, having learned, and I'm able to think back, reflect, and see how much those things actually helped me. Some of them I didn't do, and I had to learn along the way, maybe after making a couple of mistakes. And in this video, that is what I want to dive into, some of the things that I wish I knew earlier in my career, some of which I already knew then, but I didn't implement it as much as I would want to. Before I continue, I want to share a good news with everyone, which is that this channel hit 200 subscribers a few days ago, and I owe it to all of you. Like, you watched my videos, you shared it, and you took it a step further by clicking subscribe. I do not take it for granted at all. I am so happy. I am grateful. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you're currently watching this video and you're not subscribed and you want to learn about remote work, productivity, career tips, or you just want to learn a few tidbits from a young mom who is currently navigating life as a career mom while living in the UK, please subscribe to this channel. It will mean so much to me. Thank you all so much for supporting me. So now back to the crux of this video. The first lesson that I learned over the last couple of years in my career is that your network is your superpower. Back in my early years in tech, around 2018 when I recently joined tech, one of the things that accelerated my growth, it wasn't particularly intentionally done. So that's why I mentioned before that some of the things that I am going to be mentioning as lessons or things I wish I did, I probably did some of them already, but because I didn't particularly intentionally do them. So when I started my tech career, I was fortunate enough to start it with a community. Being able to network with people who are skilled or who are walking your journey can open you up to certain kinds of people and accelerate your career much faster. Building relationships with people can accelerate your journey. For instance, even getting into tech in the first place, I didn't particularly know where to start. I was doing it solo during my youth service. I was, taking courses, and everything was literally flying over my head. And it was just a phone call to one of my classmates who was already doing something in the tech ecosystem. And then she directed me to where I needed to be. And it was from there that everything literally started. So as you can see, you can't remove that human resource when it comes to, doing something or anything in your career. But if you're currently at that place in your career where you're taking courses, you've started watching YouTube videos and all of that, but you've not really started networking because probably you feel that you're not ready, you don't have anything conversation worthy, like you want to be 100% perfect before you can start networking, then I have to tell you that if you wait until you're done learning and taking all your courses, then it might be a tad too late. It's better to start networking even as you're currently learning. Whether you're currently in school or you're still at the early phases of your career, it is never really too early to start networking or to start joining communities, attending events, in-person events, virtual events. Basically go out there, because one network, one person, one contact could be the key to unlocking the next phase of your journey, and you will not be able to get that contact if you're not out there participating in communities. Also reach out to people that you admire, whether it's on LinkedIn. Let's say you have a couple of people that you admire in the tech ecosystem. Don't just wait and wait for them to reach out to you or stare or admire them in the sideline. Reach out to them, learn how to start cold emailing people on LinkedIn, especially if there is a career path that you're currently on, then go on LinkedIn and look for people who are doing good in that area. Follow them, send them messages. If you have questions, ask them. Some of them are very open to answering your questions, and sometimes you can't just tell how these things eventually pan out. So network, network, network. The number two lesson that I learned over the years is that done is better than perfect. Progress and consistency matter more than getting everything 100% right. I remember my first technical article. I think I've shared this story somewhere before. What got me started in writing my first technical article. So when I started my journey in tech, I was learning how to use Git and GitHub, that's version control. So I reached out to someone in the ecosystem where I was at that time, that was in 2018, to teach me how to use GitHub. And she declined. She didn't teach me how to use it. So I got my way around learning how to use GitHub for pushing my codes and all of that. But the codes, because I was learning to use the terminal, so some of the codes were a little bit difficult. No, I could do them, but like they were difficult to remember by hand. So I had to get a notebook and I jotted down those codes, jotted down some of the processes, and then about a year later, a few months later, I got the opportunity to teach new front-end web developers how to use GitHub. And after teaching them, I felt, how about I just push these notes I've always had online, so that since the codes were a little bit difficult for me to remember when I learned how to use it, maybe these new front end engineers may also have a hard time recalling the codes that I've also taught them. So maybe my article could be a reference point. At that time, that article was not perfect in any way. It was my first article. It's still there on my blog. I think I've edited it now and I posted the revised version of the article to Free Code Camp. But the article then, it wasn't fancy. It wasn't the best like article on how to use GitHub. And as a matter of fact, there were tons and tons of articles and videos already existing on that same topic, but it didn't make me stop publishing mine. And that was my very first technical article. And after that, I wrote many more technical articles, including eventually becoming a technical writer for Free Code Camp. So what I'm saying in essence is that you should value progress over being perfect. If you're learning to code, or you want to start writing articles, or you want to start speaking at events, don't wait until everything is 100% perfect. Don't wait until you get a cutting edge idea. It could be something that people have already written about. Write yours, because the one you're writing can provide a perspective for people who are like you, and it could be the particular article someone needs to get over a hurdle. The third thing that I'm going to talk about is the approach to your career or to your learning should be a marathon approach. It is not a sprint. Consistency over time is better than extreme work for a compressed long period of time. Let's say you're learning how to code. Instead of coding 7 hours for one single day and then you don't get to code again for days or weeks or months, it's better you spread that out to consistently coding for an hour every day, because your journey, your career journey, is a marathon and not a sprint. You're not in competition with anybody. You're basically in competition with what you knew the day before. So every single day of your career, you should be thinking of how to become better at your craft. If you're a front-end web developer, or you're a community manager, or you're a developer advocate, or whatever career you are, the goal should be to get better every day. It's not about someone else out there. It's about you. So if today you learned you're currently a junior developer, in 2 years' time, you shouldn't still be a junior developer. There should be something additional. So you should be learning with a growth mindset, be thinking of ways to continue improving, right? It's not about faking it till you make it, because you might fake it and then get into certain rooms where you would eventually embarrass yourself because you don't even know as much as you said you know. So remember that this is supposed to be for a long haul. I know there are a lot of people who come into tech with the mindset of, get rich quick and all of that, and they want to learn and become a badass engineer in 3 months. There are also courses and influencers that sell you that idea that you can come into tech and in 6 months you're a badass, you start earning in dollars, earning in pounds and all of that. And well, I don't know, maybe it works for some people, but when you come into tech, just have that mindset that it's supposed to be gradual and eventually everything good will come, but take it one step at a time. The fourth lesson that I'm going to share is that opportunities comes to those who put themselves out there. You might be the best at what you do. You might be the best front-end web developer, or the best UI UX designer, or the best at whatever field you are. But if you do not share your work, if nobody knows that you are that good, you would watch opportunities go to people who you think are less good than you are. We live in a world where the most visible people are the ones who get most rewarded. And sometimes we say it's not fair, especially for people who are introverted or people who prefer not to share their work. But then you have to keep changing with the changing tides. This is the world we live in, where people prefer to see you show the work that you do. People want to see that you can do some of the things that you have itemized that you do. How can you show your work out there? Create a portfolio and put in some of your best projects. It could be a personal website. It could be even as simple as a LinkedIn profile. It could be a blog on Hashnode. It could be like just any outlet at all, your GitHub. Make sure that there are traces of the work that you do out there. Remember that nobody is going to blow your trumpet apart from you. Nobody is going to, come out there and talk about how good you are. You should be your first advocate. At some point, there might be people who would, blow your trumpet at some point. But then initially, before the whole external validation starts trickling in, it is your own duty to push your work out there. Make sure that the things you're doing are very visible. And this is not just for social media. This applies even in your workplace as well. Where you work, ensure that the things you're doing, that your impact in the organization is not left hidden or swept under the carpet. Share your work, talk about what you do, speak up at meetings about your impact, apply for roles that you don't feel exactly qualified for. If there are opportunities you see and you feel like you don't tick 100% of the boxes, still go ahead and apply. Opportunities come to those who put themselves out there, and I have seen this play out so many times in my career and career of other people that inspire me as well in the space. The sixth lesson that I'm going to share is that rejections don't define you. They are mostly redirections. Over the last 6 years of my career, I have received several rejections. But the good thing is that I have also had a few yeses, and those few yeses are enough to, wipe your tears on all the previous disappointments. One year that tried me so much was 2020. I was getting rejections back to back, and at some point you might get tempted to start seeing these rejections and taking them very personal, like you are the one who is not good enough or that you are the one being rejected. But if there's one thing that I want you to know from this video, is that rejections don't define you. Most of the time companies reject your applications, not that they are rejecting you, but because of the pool of applicants that they had, they probably had people who were better aligned to where they are going or to what they are looking for. So for rejections, view it as a redirection. It could be a room for growth. If you're privileged to have rejections that come with feedback, work on it, try to improve on it. When rejections are coming, try not to take it so personal. Try to, look at the lessons you can learn from those rejections and understand that it is a numbers game. Don't just make like 10 applications and say, oh, this is not working. For people who have gotten things that you're looking for, trust me, they did over 100 applications. So especially in this current, climb where there are so many layoffs, expand your chances at getting some yeses by applying massively, right? Applying massively. Send out tons and tons of applications. The no's can be very, very disappointing. One day you're going to get a yes that is going to make the whole thing make sense. It happened to me in 2020 when I was getting those rejections. I was literally begging God to give me a job that pays me about 70,000 naira. I remember sleeping one night in 2020 and I had a dream where one of the organizations I was interviewing with gave me an offer letter of 200,000 naira, and I fainted in that dream. I fainted out of excitement over that salary. But the time the job that God planned for me eventually came, He paid several times of the amount that I fainted for in my dream. So this is to show you how much one yes can literally bring back in multiple folds the years of disappointment and the years of tears. So this is me encouraging you that whatever rejection you're facing now, whatever disappointment you're facing now, that there is always light at the end of the tunnel if you do not give up. Don't give up. Don't let the rejections keep you down. Keep going, keep pushing, keep applying, and I hope that your yes comes soon. The last lesson that I've learned is learning how to negotiate salary. So because of the background that I was coming from, especially finances, I am overly grateful for every single thing I make. And I already mentioned in the previous point how I fainted in a dream over a 200k salary. So sometimes when you're coming from that place of lack, of scarcity, it can make you not able to negotiate your worth or even know how to charge properly for how much you worth. It is something that I've been going on a mindset transformation journey. I won't even say that I've gotten there because it's still something I'm struggling with, but then I am learning, I am trying my best. I'm still watching videos, talking to mentors on how to negotiate better. And this is a lesson that I've learned. It's something that I didn't do early in my career, even for my first job, which wasn't paying so much. I never negotiated. The moment my boss said, "This is how much we are going to be giving you," I said yes. And it is something that a lot of people do, and it's totally understandable. But one thing you have to know is that as you grow in your career, as you keep acquiring skills and getting better, you should start learning how to negotiate, even if it is just slightly. Don't take any salary given to you like, oh my God. Like, there's always that temptation to do it, especially if you're coming from a place of like where you don't have your any amount someone gives to you. Like, in fact, it will even blow your mind, and you're like, oh my God, for me. For me, the more you keep growing in your career and realizing your worth, you should start learning how to push the needle just a little bit forward in order to get the best out of whatever role that you're occupying. That's it. Which of these lessons stands out for you? Which of these lessons spoke to your mind particularly? I look forward to hearing from you in the comment section, and I also look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.